Uh, I would like to welcome and thank to all of you to joining our Obon service tonight. An ancient legend tells us that during the time of the Buddha, one of the disciples, Moggallana, saw with his superhuman sight the agony of his mother as she suffered in the lowest hell. When this fact was brought to attention to the Blessed One, his heart was moved to great compassion. Through the grace of his all-embracing compassion, the woman was saved. Moggallana and the other disciples clapped their hands in joy. The legends say this was the origin of the Obon Odori. As we partake of the Obon service tonight, we should also reflect upon the truth of our existence, the truth that our loved ones are continuing to influence and take effect upon our present lives. Obon is a time to express our gratitude for being given those conditions to live this life. Obon is an expression of the pureness of heart that arises when we embrace the truth of those causes and conditions of your life. And this is why our tradition of Jodoshinshu we call Obon, Kangie, or gathering of joy.
Your face shines in great splendor, boundless, wondrous dignity, such the greatness of your light, beyond all comparison, brightness of the sun and moon, and the shining money jewels, when compared to your brilliance, seem to us like blackest ink, Tathagata's countenance transcends all comparison. The great voice of awakening resounds through the 10 quarters. Your precepts, learning, effort, meditation, wisdom are virtues beyond all compare, ultimate, supreme, and rare. Your deep meditation has fathomed all the Dharma sea to the limits and the depth of all things the Buddhas teach. Ignorance, anger, and greed, the world-honored one has none. Like a lion among men, measureless your great virtue, vast are your great virtuous deeds, wisdom deep and so sublime. Your radiant, luminous light shakes all the world's foundations. When I become a Buddha, equal to the Dharma King, I will transcend birth and death, liberating all beings. My giving discipline mind, precepts, patience, and effort, meditation, and wisdom shall be supreme, unsurpassed. I will attain Buddhahood, everywhere fulfill my vow, bringing to all those in fear great peace and tranquility. Though there are myriad Buddhas, beyond measure, beyond count, and great sages numberless, like the grains of Ganges sand, I will honor each of them, equally accepting none. Even more importantly, I will seek the supreme way, even though all Buddha worlds are countless as Ganges sands, even though all lands and realms are boundless without measure, yet my light shall reach them all and illumine every place. Such shall be my perfect work, such my power infinite. When I attain Buddhahood, my land will be first and best, place of practice transcendent, its people sublime and rare, land equal to nirvana, beyond all comparison, with pity for everyone. I will carry all across all who come from 10 quarters to be born into my land, to attain pure joyful mind, peace and great tranquility. Be my witness, Buddha, please. Confirm my sincerity. Now that I have made my vows, I will strive to fulfill them. Buddhas of the 10 quarters, with your wisdom unhindered, may all of these honored ones know my deepest intention. Even though my body must bear great pain and suffering, I will persevere and strive patiently without regret. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace.
Aloha. Thank you to Reverend Yagi for inviting me to share with you today. To all those families observing Hatsubong this year, my condolences on your recent loss. May the Buddha's light of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion give you comfort and peace. As we reflect on our journey over the past 16 months, we have discovered a new appreciation for Sangha and how important it is for our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being to be part of a community and to nurture our relationships with family and friends. This time of pandemic and isolation has been an opportunity for us to discover new meaning in old things and inspiration for our future. It is within Sangha that the Buddha lives and where the Dharma comes alive. We can easily learn about the teachings from a book, but it is so much more meaningful to learn by doing and by living the Buddhist path. In the Jodoshinshu tradition, we use the term ondobo ondogyo, or fellow traveler, to describe members of our Sangha. Each of us is a friend and guide to the other, and we walk together as equals within the compassionate embrace of the Buddha. When we see ourselves in this way, we can break down the barriers that keep us separated, and we come to know how truly connected and interdependent we are. Obon season is here again, And unfortunately, due to the ongoing pandemic, we will not be able to hold our Bon dances for another year. We will all look forward to this annual ritual of remembrance for its fellowship, its food, and its fun. By gathering and dancing together, we thin the veil of separation between us and our departed loved ones, and we feel close to them. Obon is truly a festival of joyful memory in which we celebrate life and our continuing relationship with those that have come before. Obon reminds us of the great web of life, that our lives are made possible by countless causes and conditions that we should be grateful for. We are also reminded that we have a responsibility to create a meaningful life for future generations. While Obon is a festival of joyful memory, it is also a reminder that we are links between the past and the future. Obon teaches us that how well we live in this present moment is the best way of honoring those that have gone before. Obon is truly a joyful gathering in which both the living and the dead rejoice in the universal embrace of the Buddha's compassion. While our dancing is a physical act of remembrance for our loved ones, we also dance for ourselves. When we awaken to the timeless working of the Dharma and of the vow in our lives, we can do nothing else but to express our profound joy and gratitude. This is why we dance, because we realize our loved ones have become one with timeless reality, and they continue to embrace us as personal Buddhas. Obon has its origins in the Ulumbala Sutra. The word Obon is the shortened form of the word urabon-e, which means to suffer as if being hung upside down. The sutra tells the story of Moggallana, one of Shakyamuni Buddha's 10 great disciples, and how he suffered over the death of his mother, feeling a deep sense of regret and sorrow. He believed that her devotion to him had been a barrier to her understanding the Dharma. However, the Buddha counseled Moggallana by asking him to reflect deeply upon this, and he came to realize that his mother's devotion to him was based on a pure and unselfish love. With this profound insight into his mother's life, Moggallana danced with joy as his regret and his sorrow were transformed into appreciation and gratitude. Moggallana's story is also our story. The pain of losing a loved one is part of our human life, and how we come to understand the meaning of death is through the telling of stories as a way to remember and to reflect on the continuing bonds of love. We realize our loved ones continue to inspire and to offer guidance, and we've needed much guidance and support in dealing with our many challenges over this past year. Grief is a lifelong journey that changes over time. We grieve because we love, and we love because we're human. The pain of loss reminds us of our love and keeps our hearts open. And within our grief, we discover that love is greater than time and place, and even greater than death. It is this love that transforms our sorrow into appreciation and gratitude. As you take time to remember, reflect on how your journey has been over the years since your loved one's birth in the Pureland. What have you noticed about your relationship with them? How do you encounter their presence every single day? In Buddhism, we are taught that death should not be feared because it is the ultimate truth of our existence, that all things are impermanent. Even the death of Shakyamuni Buddha underscores this basic truth that we and all things in this universe are subject to constant change. The Buddha taught us about the truths of birth, old age, sickness, and death, and how we can live without fear or worry. The Buddha intended that through his teachings we would come to understand our impermanent nature and ultimately experience freedom from our suffering. Earlier this week, we had a full moon, and the moon reminds us that the true Buddha is enlightenment itself, and the essence of enlightenment does not change, despite what we may see. People call one phase of the moon the full moon, the half moon, the quarter moon, the crescent moon, the new moon. However, in reality, the moon is still perfectly round, neither waxing nor waning. Buddha is precisely like the moon. In the eyes of humans, the Buddha may seem to change, but in truth, the Buddha does not change. We believe that when someone dies, they become one with the Buddha. So therefore, while their physical form may pass from this world, the true essence of our loved one continues to live on in enlightenment. And the activity of enlightenment is always embracing us. This is why in our altar, Amida Buddha is standing to show the dynamic activity of wisdom and compassion always present in our lives, always coming to us. Our loved ones are always with us, embracing us through the working of Namo Amida Butsu. Not being able to celebrate Obon in the traditional way has made us realize how important rituals are in our lives. They can offer us connection, grounding, and healing. What makes rituals so special and powerful is that they are intentional. We consciously and mindfully undertake them so we can be reminded of what is truly meaningful in our lives. When I moved to Kona several years ago, my dad drove over from Hilo to deliver my grandparents' obutsudan to me. I don't know how long or how old the altar is, but I remember them always having it. What makes the altar so special is that it contains my grandparents' ihai, or their wooden memorial tablets. My grandparents were such a big part of my life that to be able to care for their obutsudan is quite meaningful. Each morning, I start my day by lighting the candle and offering incense and chanting a sutra. This daily ritual of self-reflection reminds me of how I'm always connected to the working of limitless light in life. I'm also able to greet my grandparents each morning to thank them for their continuing influence on my life. While I live alone, I am not alone because they are always with me in the dynamic activity of Namo Amida Butsu. They have become personal Buddhas who help me to feel connected to the rhythms and the cycles of life. This ritual of starting my day with them and with the Buddha has been healing, especially during this time of pandemic. So what personal rituals do you have that connect you to your loved ones? I know many people ohakamairi by cleaning and bringing flowers to the family graves. Our temple, columbarium, and cemetery here are always well kept and full of beautiful flowers. Besides flowers, people sometimes leave favorite snacks and the occasional can of beer on special occasions. These rituals have continued relatively uninterrupted during this pandemic. They remind us of our need for connection and how healing it is to be in relationship with those that have come before. In the Amida Sutra, one of the 3 sacred scriptures of Jodoshinshu, we find the phrase, kue isho. These beautiful words describe how we will all meet together in one place. It refers to how when we entrust in Amida's vow and aspire for birth in the Pureland, we will all meet together in the world of enlightenment. In our tradition, it is customary to inscribe kue isho on headstones as a reminder of this sacred promise fulfilled by Amida Buddha's great compassion. You might also find the words Namo Amida Butsu inscribed on many headstones. This is also customary in our tradition because we continually meet our loved ones in the dynamic activity of saying the Buddha's honored name. This is why we often share the following poem in grateful remembrance of our loved ones. If you miss me, say Namo Amida Butsu, for I too live in the 6 letters. If you miss me, say Namo Amida Butsu, for I too live in the 6 letters. This is why, when we say the Nembutsu, we experience kue isho. We meet our loved ones in the working of great wisdom and compassion that sustains our lives. However, not all rituals are necessarily religious. Do you make your mom's favorite recipe for special family gatherings? Do you go to your grandfather's favorite fishing spot? Do you pauhana with family and friends like your dad used to? Or do you simply tell your departed spouse good morning every day when you wake up? Think about the rituals you regularly perform that connect you to love. These rituals of remembrance are truly about the life that we continue to share with those that have come before. They are life-giving and connect us to what is truly meaningful and real and lasting. So while we cannot dance together again this year, we can all reflect on the ways our departed loved ones continue to enrich and to influence our lives. This is the true spirit of Obon that we can celebrate throughout the year. Please join me in Gasho for a closing reflection. The words of the Reverend Kenru Suji. My life is fleeting and finite, and I do not know what certitude what tomorrow has in store for me, but in the transitory boundaries of my existence is the timeless flow of Amida's life. In the finite sound of my Nembutsu is Amida's voice of compassion, tirelessly calling me. Like a small stream that enters the mighty current of the great river, so does my insignificant life. In the Nembutsu, join the majestic flow of Amida's infinite life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Happy Obon. Mahalo.